Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Bloom Like a Flower, Paper Crafting YouTube Hop. Yeah, a bunch of us got together, so the theme is flowers and blooming, I guess. But you can use flowers any way you want. I'm going to scrap this photo of Hope, and I'm going to use this collection here. It is Simple Storage Vintage Cottage Gardens, and I was gifted it by YouTube buddy, and oh, I just love it. I don't know how I missed it, but she managed to get two, so she blessed me with one. And since it's one of the essential kits, it has a couple extra things with it. I'm going to use this pink fresh dye and Simple Stories paper pad. And this was my favorite paper of all, so I'm using it first. And I would tell you who blessed me, but she doesn't want to be acknowledged. But it is a blessing indeed. Um, well, it's a wood grain, but it's a very light wood grain. With that light background, I didn't want it to be very dark. And I cut it in, I believe those are 1/2 inch strips, thereabouts. They may not be perfect. I think some are a little bit bigger than others, but thereabouts. And I drew 2 lines so I could stay in a certain area. And right off the bat, I decided I better go ahead and put some double-sided tape on the back just to make it easier on myself. And although it looks like I cut a lot of those little strips, I didn't. I think I'm going to cut out just as many more to make sure I get this completed because I was like halfway done and needed more. So I'm figuring just as many. I trying to space them out close to, the same amount. I could have took one of the pieces and just went ahead and used it as a spacer, but I decided I didn't really mind if it wasn't super accurate. I just liked the looks of it, and I wanted lattice board, and I have lattice board on my deck. And my first thought was to weave it in between each other and have it weaved, kind of like a basket or something. And then I thought, well, my granddaughter's outside, and it did, make me think when I started it of the lattice board on my deck. So I wasn't going to weave it. I was just going to do it like it was on my deck. So my deck has a railing on the top. It has a board on the bottom to hold the lattice board in place. So that's what I'm going to do. I put one on the top and one on the bottom to hold my lattice board in place. That and cover up the mechanics of me making the lattice board. I did put 3 pieces of paper behind my photo. You've seen 2, and I went ahead and cut out one because I had to stop and cut it, and it's the same wood grain that I used for the lattice board. If I'd been thinking, I would not have done that, but I wasn't thinking, and I thought it looked good, and it does. I do like it. However, I had a plan, and I failed because I forgot all about the plan. I There was quite a few pieces of the floral bits in here, and I went ahead and mounted them on cardstock and fussy cut around them so they'd be more sturdy because I knew I was going to layer them and put some on foam tape under them, and that's what I'm scattering around the layout. There were some really pretty teal looking ones in there, but since her dress is blue, I decided not to use them. I'd save them for another layout. I used some green cardstock and I cut out, well, several of the pink fresh dye branches. And I think I'm going to use all the ones that I ink except for one. I didn't ink them all because I just used the whole 12 by 12 paper and cut out as many as I could because I figured, it'd match the collection. I could use it on another layout. But I'm just going to use this greenery as fillers around my cluster, around my photo, around my flowers. That's it, around my flowers. Uh, the Flowers, I didn't have enough of the pink ones. Well, I think there was one more cluster that had pink in it, but it also had the cream colored too. And I thought I'd just save it for another layout. And I used some of the flowers by themselves, and they're going to get inked. They're not going to stay exactly that same color. I like them, but I just wanted to have them to match your dress a little bit more. Now, the word beautiful is chipboard, but I added foam tape to it. The reasoning in my head was that I was going to have it overlap the railing on my lattice board, but I think the foam tape was thicker. So it's kind of got like a little shadow, but it seems pretty firm, so I think it'll be okay. Oh, and the ink I used for the lattice board was Vintage Photo uh, Oxide. It was the oxide one. And then I just used the regular Distress ink on the leaves, and it's peeled paint. And I did add a doily on there. It was left over from another layout, and I had it laying at the side of my desk. And I was worried it was going to get tore up, so I decided I'd better use it on a layout. And I think it goes great on here anyway. But while I'm adding all this greenery filler stuff, I want to mention that down there below you'll find the links to everybody else that is doing the hop. And as I said, the hop is flowers, so you'll see flowers in all kinds of different ways. Probably mostly layouts, but this is a YouTube group that is paper crafters, so they might want to do something else this month, but they will stick with the theme of flowers. And Rachel Talman is the creator of this group. And so it's a great idea. They do any kind of paper crafting that they want for the hop. I am, let's see, I'm still adding the greenery filler to my layout. It does take me a few minutes. I added one little leaf to the, well, it was left over, to the word beautiful, and I am putting a butterfly right on there, and I've got, well, two more butterflies. I'm going to look, make sure I didn't put another one on. Well, there's going to be one more, but it's not going to be in flight. It's going to be part of an embellishment cluster thingy. Well, it's a sticker, but I'm going to add to the sticker. Um, and I'm still going to forget what I had planned. Here's where I add the blue to these. And I used, let's see, broken china. And I believe it's the oxide broken china because I wanted it lighter. The oxide ones kind of remind me of the chalk inks that they used to have. Well, I never see them anymore. And they might still have them, but I don't see them. But they're usually lighter. And here's that sticker I'm going to add. I'm going to end up putting foam tape under it because I am putting it down there in the empty space. Not that there's a whole lot of empty spaces at the bottom of my trellis. I think that's the word. I think that's the word I've been looking for. Maybe that's it. Yeah, since I have flowers and greenery on here, I think it qualifies as a trellis. But this little sticker says the best ever, the best ever. And my granddaughter is at the daddy-daughter dance. And this is one of the extra photos of her by herself instead of her and her daddy. And she just looks so grown up in that hairstyle. Adorable. And the wall behind her is a brick and concrete one, I believe. Maybe it's just concrete. But right behind there, you will see pink flowers. And I went with those pink flowers to add the pink ones to my layout. And I did cut that uh, ticket in half, but I wanted the color to show. And the other part said right now. And it would be hid anyway, so I cut it in half so I could save it. And I will be using it before the end of the layout, just not quite yet. I am adding my sequins, and it's Spiegelmom Scraps, and it's called Blushing Bride. And it has different colors that match the colors that are already in my layout. And I will end up pulling 3 back up because I finally kept thinking, There's something wrong here. I'm forgetting something. What is it I'm forgetting? And I had it planned to make, well, put this border on the bottom, and it's a Martha Stewart, one of the deep edge ones. And I used part of my wood grain on the back of my photo. So I'm having to piece together, yeah, uh, what I had left of the wood grain to make this go all the way across. And one of them has, well, a line in it, a black line from the panels on the wood grain. And I'm going to cover it up and use the other part of that one ticket and a couple of more things. But I really didn't want it to show because it was most of the way across. It didn't have that line. And I just wanted to make sure it looked like there was one underneath there. But yeah, I'm covering up almost all of that line to before it is done. It'll have such a small amount showing that nobody will ever even notice it. I start to use that circle um, sticker, and well, I haven't got it out yet. There it is. And I decide I don't like it, but I like the idea of the circle. Well, maybe I don't have it out yet. But yeah, there's the other one. I had a sticker, then I switched to this other one, and it says this photo, and it's going to work out a whole lot better on here. And then I have a ticket that says love this because, I was going with color themes. There was ones that had yellow and uh, other colors on there, and one that was pink, but there's pink right above it, so that did not work. So I'm going to use this one. Well, it's pink too, but it's a light pink. It's a blush instead. And then the right here ticket's going to go underneath there. And of course, I've got to add some sequins because, I got sequins everywhere else. And then I had to pull 3 up, so I have to add some more across there. And then I'll be done with my layout. And I love how it turned out, even with all the hardships and errors that I did doing it and forgetting all about that trim down there. And I really like that trim down there. I thought, how could I forget it? Well, one thing, I didn't get it out when I got everything else out. So, yeah, and I thought of it while I was in the other room fixing lunch. And yeah, it was a little slow making it to the layout, but it made it. And there's my little cluster on the bottom right, trying to hide that line that you see right over at the edge. And isn't that trellis pretty? And the trim that's on the bottom. Yeah, I don't use that punch very often, but and it's bold. I really like it. I won that on YouTube once. So yeah, I like it. I've had it a long time. But if you leave a comment down there below, I'll try to get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And those of you already are, thank you so much. And thank you to the sweet, wonderful person that gifted me this collection. And have fun on the hop. Have a happy, scrappy week. Bye.